Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Today we're going to talk about something that annoys the heck out of me. And you're like, oh boy, we're on to a good start already. Yeah, it's the lack of information and knowledge around video podcasts. And there are so many podcast gurus who don't have a sweet flippin' clue what they're saying. Which leads me to go here first to start the show. I know, but here we go.
And now, it is time for Dave to share a most excellent rant on something that he just won't stop talking about. Please allow Dave to share his thoughts on this particular subject so that his glorious wife Jennifer may have a moment of rest from Dave going on and on and on about this topic. Here is Dave and his rant for this week.
So here's my rant for the week. I'll get this out of the way and get on with the content because that's why we're really here. Not for Dave just to keep spewing on. But anyway, let me have this. I promise I'll move on. I listen to podcasts about podcasting. I listen to a lot of people who brand themselves as a podcast guru. They have a podcast, so they become a guru. And they don't know what they're talking about sometimes. And it's very frustrating because they don't do the work. They don't do their homework. They don't know what podcasting is. It's just, yeah. I don't know how they've earned their credibility to speak on behalf of the podcast community when they don't know what they're talking about. So what they're saying is that video podcasting is new. And it's not. It is not new. Video podcasting has been around from the beginning of podcasting. And there are three different podcast hosting sites that actually allow you to distribute video podcasts the same way you distribute audio podcasts. Now, not all players support a video podcast so that you can watch it. And then enters YouTube. YouTube comes in and says, we'll take all your videos for free. Thank you very much. And people walk away from paying a hosting site for video podcast distribution to go to YouTube because it's free. So people think that because video podcasting is hot topic right now and everyone's saying you got to do video, well, you don't have to do anything, first of all. So stop it. People, stop saying that. You don't have to do anything. That's not right. But video podcasts has been around from the beginning. So stop saying to people that video podcasts are new. They're not new. They're not. Do your homework. They're not new. They've been around from the beginning. And it makes me so annoyed when people think that they know what they're talking about, and they obviously don't. So one of the podcasts about podcasting I listen to and I love, and I just adore these two guys. And sadly, one of them passed away in 2025. But you can still go back and pick up on old episodes on YouTube and all that. It's the New Media Show with Todd Cochran and Rob Greenlee. Two guys who get on and talk about podcasting, and you know, sometimes they get into the weeds a little bit and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But they don't always agree, which is a great premise for a podcast. And they sometimes get into this. They get into topics that make me just want to listen more. And the fact that Todd Cochran has now passed away, I find myself going back to these episodes again and again and again because I want to hear his voice. I want to hear his insights. That's the legacy of podcasting. Todd is gone. There's a huge gap in the world of podcasting, and I've had only a few interactions with Todd through email and being part of his live community when he records and stuff. And I wish I'd done more. I wish I'd given him his flowers, as we say, when I had the opportunity to do so. Such a great guy. A character. Very, very opinionated, and he knows what he knows, and he knows it well. And so here's a little clip from the New Media Show where Todd and Rob are talking about the fact that video podcasting is not new. So, to my point, and I just think if you're going to be a podcast educator and you're going to get on and talk about podcasting, then go learn something first, okay? Because you saying that video podcasts are new is completely incorrect. There might be a new focus on video podcasting, but they're not new. So stop it. Here's Todd and Rob, and I feel like I'm becoming Todd right now. And the logarithm. You'll hear. Here's Todd and Rob.
Todd, are you getting the feeling like that because of the moves that Spotify's making and the talk in the industry around video and YouTube's kind of influence coming into the space, that there's more energy and interest in the podcasting 2.0 and
all of a sudden
PSP stuff now more than ever?
Yeah, because there's a reason.
Yeah.
People are seeing the numbers and they're worried about survivability. Yeah.
So I think this may be a good time for the Podcast Standards Project and others, as we push towards trying to figure out, what's the next innovation around this video question?
Yeah.
How can RSS hold on to its distribution core for podcasting, audio and video podcasting? That's the question we're trying to answer here, because podcasting, when it started, was audio and video podcasting.
Yeah, it's been that way from the beginning.
Right. So let's go back and support what this medium started out as, and especially now when we're faced with big competitors like Spotify and YouTube who want to disrupt the audio side with video, that I think it makes sense for us to, push forth an optional effort on the video side with RSS.
And it's no doubt, it's hard to say. I do see YouTube starting to dance with of course it is. It's, and you've got a lot of YouTubers that have something they're calling a podcast that don't have a podcast on Apple. They are just on YouTube. And, one of my favorite YouTube channels, they have a podcast. I don't watch it. It's a separate channel on YouTube. They call it a podcast. And, I've told them about 100 times in their YouTube comments, I can't find you on Apple Podcast.
And to try and draw a parallel to the early years of the video podcasting ecosystem that existed in the first few years of the podcast medium, there were a few shows. I wouldn't say it was a huge number of shows that were video podcasts only.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't do audio.
Yeah, they didn't.
So I think that could be what comes out of this.
Yeah.
Again, is that if Apple supports this, we will see video first
for sure
podcasts come out and be distributed via RSS.
Like they were in the beginning.
Right. I think we'll see that get energized again.
Yeah.
And then, obviously those shows will probably be published over to YouTube as well, and probably over to Spotify. So then we start the development of a real video ecosystem that includes podcasts, not excludes podcasts. So, right.
So, it is, we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, I think what this is, and I kind of agree with what some other folks' assessment is, it's the new shiny object. And, if video was all it was meant to be, then this YouTube channel that I have would have exploded years ago. And it has never exploded. And yet the audio video podcast continues to do remarkably good numbers beyond anything that's on YouTube. But I never had a true YouTube strategy either. So.
Well, you're also an audio first creator too. So, the video side has been kind of secondary to your priorities.
Yeah, but I've always had a nice studio background, and the aesthetics have always been good, and flip in different images and lower thirds and all that stuff has always been part of the show. So again, but this is the show we do as a I don't know if this makes for compelling content on YouTube or not. We get 20, 30 views or 100 views or whatever we get on. At least mine does. Yours get a little better than mine. And compared to the thousands on the on the RSS based stuff.
It's always great to hear Todd's voice. And again, links to New Media Show in the show notes. It might not be your podcast that you've ever listened to before, but these two gentlemen have been around from the beginning of time in podcasting. And they really wrestle with what's going on in the industry. And, you know, Todd's passion for independent podcasters is great. He's always been a champion for podcasters like you and me. So he was the creator of Blubrry, and he had a show called Geek News Central and all that as well. So we miss Todd. I find I go back to that podcast just to hear his voice. I don't know, something comforting to reconnect with someone we've lost. So if you're interested, that's another podcast that is still going. Rob Greenlee's kept it going, and he's bringing on guests, and he's doing it kind of like from a solo perspective with guest co-hosts and things. But yeah, Todd is gone, and we miss him dearly. So thank you, Todd. The big thing about video podcasts is right now there's a fight for dominance in video podcasting. And video podcasting can be anything from a Zoom file uploaded to YouTube to talking heads. It can be really anything, right? And YouTube is the go-to place for free hosting of video for the most part. That's kind of the most common place that people would send their files. So a YouTube strategy for podcasting and video strategy for podcasting is something that's really in the zeitgeist of podcasting right now. People are really, really leaning into this. And the one thing that I know Todd always talked about on New Media Show was the overwhelming pressure for people starting, that they feel like they have to do video from the beginning. Does video help your podcast? Well, there are people who enjoy learning visually. They're a visual learner. They don't learn through an audible version. They learn better by seeing. But there are so many different types of podcasts out there that some lend themselves to a video format, some don't. This unending pressure to be on video and have your podcast on video doesn't serve the entirety of the podcast community. Some of it's driven by marketing. Some of it is driven by hosting sites or places that are video first, or video editing tools, or places like Riverside and Descript and all these other places that focus on video. They want people to use more video. It's kind of in their best interest to sell more people on being a video content creator so that they can use the video tools and services that generate income for the businesses that create them in support of video podcasts. So there's this whole underbelly of the video podcasting conversation. But I want you to hear, and if you go back and listen to any of the episodes with Todd and Rob and look at the titles, if this has anything to say about YouTube or video podcasts, then go listen to those episodes, because that's when they're really going to get into this more. But just Todd's heart was always that if video keeps you from podcasting, we're doing damage to podcasting. And that audio is still a great and viable way of building an audience, building a community, and getting your voice out there without having to turn on a single camera. Video costs money. It costs money for editing. It costs money for equipment. It costs money for a background. It costs money for hosting. If you're going to host it through an RSS feed, again, to our gurus out there who don't know what an RSS feed is, come on. How are you teaching podcasting? Come on. Video podcasts cost money. More money and time than an audio version. And for, like we've talked about before, there are podcasts that are story-driven. There are podcasts that help you fall asleep. There are podcasts for children. And to have a video element for some of these podcasts makes absolutely no sense at all. KidsPod is a screen-free app for podcasters for children. And KidsPod, their whole idea is we don't want our kids watching a screen. We want them playing. So here's content without a screen attached, so your kids can fall asleep at night and go to sleep to a podcast episode story or whatever. You can be in the car and not have to stare at the screen. You can just listen so your kids don't get car sick, right? Like, you can go play with your toys and have a children's podcast in the background with no attachment to a visual screen at all. Like, there's, again, podcasts that help you fall asleep. The last thing you want is a screen on in the middle of the night in the darkness of your room and this blaring bright screen as you watch somebody podcast about falling asleep. That makes no sense at all. So not everybody needs to do a video podcast. And for those where other people are doing video podcasts, like interviews, like I have an author podcast, it's interesting. I don't have everyone asking for video. They just want to have the audio. Video doesn't have to be a thing that keeps you from starting podcasting. And I just want people to understand that. If you come from a video world, then please do video. You have everything you need to do it right. Then you should be doing video. If that's your thing, then do video. But what I don't like in the podcasting space right now is people beating up on each other because you're not doing it the way I do it, so you're doing it wrong. And if I'm a video first creator and you're an audio first creator, we can't be friends. That's not what podcasting is about. Podcasting is a gate-free version of creating content, reaching an audience, and nobody can take it away from you. And if you build your world on YouTube, as a creator, you're at the mercy of YouTube. Whatever they decide to do with you, with their content, with YouTube itself, you have no control. I hear people who build things on social media. A podcast creator that I know lost his entire Instagram account. Years and years and years of connections and content and showing up, gone. And what does he get? Nothing. You got to start over. How frustrating is that? When you don't own the platform, you don't own the results. So you can build a video podcast on YouTube. Go ahead. Build it, create it, nurture it, help it grow. But don't do anything wrong on that platform. Kind of like 3 strikes, you're out. With no recourse and no way to rebuild without starting from scratch. Just be careful where you're building the foundation of your podcast and what you're building in your community. Make sure that you have, at the end of the day, your content, your community, your listeners, your hard work doesn't just fade away. Because you don't own the platform. You don't own the experience, and you don't own the results. Build your world through your podcast, and that's why I'm on this focus right now in 2026 to be podcast first. However you define that. I'm not going to define it for you. I can define it for myself, but I'm not going to define it for you because podcasting has no rules. And if a guru tells you there's a rule, you need to leave that guru now because there are no rules. There are best practices. There are tried and true things that we've done and failed and succeeded. But it failed and succeeded for my show, not for your show. So just keep that in mind. Please pick a better guru. And if you hear any guru talk about the fact that video podcasting is new, like it's never been before, and that I've heard this, audio podcast is where podcasting started and video podcasts are new. No, No, they're not. You're wrong. That's incorrect information. Podcasting has been video and audio basically from the beginning, and anything else other than that is not true. So find true sources of information. Don't forget the legacy of podcasting. Don't forget the people that have been in it from the beginning who teach, instruct, and want to help you grow. Don't ignore the voices of the people who have been here from the start. They know stuff. You've been here 3 minutes, they've been here 25 years. Who do you trust? Follow the voices that lead you to the truth about podcasting. And when you come across somebody that's teaching things that is incorrect, call them out, walk away, and go find a better, truthful source for your podcast journey. I'm not going to get everything right on the How to Podcast series, but I'm doing my best. And I'm surrounding myself with great voices of people that I trust to help me understand podcasting better. And I try to give that to you in every episode. So I hope you find that helpful. Video podcasts are not new. Video podcasts are on Apple. I know, I'll say it again. Video podcasts are available on Apple through an RSS feed. Really simple syndication. Just like an audio podcast, there's videos on Apple. There's videos on Spotify, directly to Spotify, and videos on YouTube, direct to YouTube. But if you want to distribute your podcast through video, there are 3 podcast hosting sites that can help you do this. Libsyn, Blubrry, and Podbean, I believe. And these are the 3 that'll help you get a video podcast distributed the same way you do audio. But you're going to pay for it. Or you can use YouTube. The advantage of paying for it and going with one of these 3, you own it. And if YouTube closes tomorrow, you're not going to lose your audience. Because video and audio podcasts through a really simple syndication feed, RSS, is yours. You own it. And you can point it anywhere you want. So please stop telling people that video are new. They're a new focus, but they're not new. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to the entirety of the episode, including this part. You know what? A lot of people leave right now. So we'll let them leave. Give them a second to go. Okay, now it's just you and me. We have our meetups that we do for the How to Podcast series. We do them during the week, and we also do them on Saturdays. So twice a week, you have the opportunity to meet other podcasters, just like you. Some people have just started. Some people haven't even released an episode yet. Some have been doing it forever. And we get together and talk podcasting. We want to help you in community to continue with your show, to start your show, to grow your show. So come and meet listeners of this show in one space on meetup.com. Again, through howtopodcast.ca, you'll see the links. It's completely free to join. Come whenever you have an opportunity to come. There's no commitment. You don't have to sign any waivers. You can just come join us. Come join the conversation. We'd love to have you there because the only thing that's going to make these meetups better is you being there. So I'm hoping you will say yes. And you'll say, Dave, I'm tired of podcasting by myself. I wish there were people I could connect with that are fellow podcasters and share my frustrations with guests who ghost me and my editing software is crapping out on me and I'm just having this hard time. I'm just having a hard time coming up with podcasts, episodes and titles and all the things and social media. Wouldn't it be great to get in a room with other podcasters and share best practices and learn? 3 of our 4 Saturdays every month are themed. So you have a topic, but that last Saturday of every month is open question and answer. Ask anything. Come meet a podcaster. Come enjoy the podcasting community through howtopodcast.ca. come to our meetups. Can't wait to see you there. Okay, you're still here? Great. This is a little bonus stuff here at the end. I do this just to stay connected with you, and most people won't hear this part of the podcast. So it encourages people to listen longer to the episode. The longer people listen to the episode, the better for the app that you're listening on right now. So that's why I do this at the end of the episode. So thanks for sticking around. This is, I'm so glad to have you still here. I'd love to talk to you, by the way, at howtopodcast.ca, so reach out. The question came in was, Dave, how soon can I make money with my podcast? And that's a great question. There's a lot of, podcasting costs a lot of money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. You're taking time away from family and other things. Maybe this is something you do in the evenings and weekends when you're not working. And you're giving up a lot of yourself to create a podcast. So the idea, and there's a lot of talk in podcasting about making money with your show. So it comes up often that people want to make money with your show. Usually my first response to any question about making money with your show is, how much money do you want to make with your podcast? Because that your answer has a significant impact on where we need to go then, because you can make money from your show basically right from the beginning, but you're going to make pennies, like a very small amount, especially if you don't have an audience, if you don't have a name, nobody knows you, and you have no followers, you have no community around what you do, and you're starting from zero listens, 0 episodes. It's going to take a while. Now, popular podcasts about podcasting will tell you, a few years, 3 years of creating content on a regular basis to build up an audience that's big enough or engaged enough to actually support whatever it is that you're going to do to make money with your show. The easiest way to make money with your show is to have a product or service related to the content or related to you that you can promote through the podcast. So an example, real estate agent I'm working with, she wants a podcast, and all she wants is about 5 to 10 listeners, active, passionate listeners for her real estate podcast. That's not a very big number, right? 5 or 10 people. But that's all she needs. She needs 5 or 10 contacts on a regular basis to keep her real estate business open. She can't serve any more than that. She can't serve 10,000 people. That's impossible. So she can't sell that many houses. She'd love to, but she can't. So her podcast goal is, I'm using my podcast, and I don't have any ads in my show except for what I do as a real estate agent. I bring on people who are in the industry, mortgage brokers, banks, home inspectors, whatever, to come on her show as guests. She talks to them. She talks about her community, her neighbors, what you can see and find and where this real estate agent lives. It's excellent, great content, meaningful, valuable content for an audience that gives you insight. And when you move to that or want to move to that community, that's going to be one of the first real estate agents you're going to reach out to because they gave value and you learned something from them. So why not go to them first? So that's one example of making money indirectly from your show. The podcast feeds an audience. The audience becomes your clients. If you're an author, you have a book, promote your book through your podcast. Don't just be a guest on other shows. Have your own show and talk about your journey as an author. And use your book and every opportunity to sell your book. If you have a course, whatever. You're a creative person. If you're a musician, sell your services as a musician. If you're a speaker, get on stages by using your podcast to open the doors to more speaking events where you're going to get paid. There's a lot of ways to make money if you have a product or service, more than if you're starting from net zero and you have nothing and no audience. It's going to take time. So for my show, Living the Next Chapter, How to Podcast, Dad Space, all these shows, I have made some money through the show. Mostly would come through Buy Me a Coffee, actual donations to the show of a computer and a webcam and a bunch of other stuff have come to me. I've had free books show up at my door from authors, which I didn't have to pay for. So it comes in different ways. So my biggest question back to you, when you say, I want to make money with my podcast, how much money do you want to make? Well, I want to make life-changing amount of money where it pays all my bills and I can make a ton of money. Okay, well, that's one path. It's going to take a lot of work to get there. If you're starting from zero, nothing's impossible, but it's going to take a lot of work. If you're trying to make 25 cents, or if you're trying to make $5, $10, $50, then yeah, there's a path for you. You're going to, again, have to do work, but there is a path for you. So depending on what your answer is to my question back to you, how much do you want to make? Then we can decide from there. So yes, you can monetize your podcast from day one, but you might make 35 cents. Congratulations, you made 35 cents on the internet. You did make money, just how much? That's what we need to know. So figure that out before you ask that question next time. And that'll help us to decide which way we want to go with your show. If you ever have any questions about that, making money with your show, anything about podcasting, howtopodcast.ca. Thanks for sticking around. Take care. Bye.